All right, let's dive in. Today, we are exploring a map, but not for any physical place. No, this is a map for one of the oldest battles in human history, the one that happens right inside each of us. It's a framework that's designed to help make sense of our own internal spiritual struggles.
You know that feeling, right? That classic tug of war where one part of you wants to do the right thing, the good thing, but man, there's this other part that's just pulling you in a totally different direction. It's that constant clash between our deepest values and our most immediate desires.
Well, the source material we're looking at today actually offers a map for that very battle. It's called the Spirit-Flesh Zones. Think of it as a tool, something designed to help us actually see and navigate this internal conflict. So, let's open up this map and see where it takes us.
Okay, so the map itself is basically a simple grid. You've got two axes. On the vertical axis, we have the spirit. That's our higher nature, our connection to God, our values. And we've got two choices. We can either sustain it or we can starve it. Then on the horizontal axis, you have the flesh. Our earthly desires, those immediate cravings. And again, two choices. Famish it or feed it. And where these choices intersect, well, that's what creates four very, very different inner worlds.
And here they are. Those choices create these four zones: devotion, destruction, depletion, and depravity. Now, what's really interesting is how the source suggests we explore this. We're actually going to start with the zones of struggle, because to really understand the goal, you first have to understand the battle.
So our first stop on this map is down in the bottom right corner. Let's talk about Zone 4, Depravity.
So how do you end up here? Well, it's a specific recipe. You're starving your spirit, while at the same time, you're actively feeding the flesh. The source material calls this an oblivious spiritual funk. It's that state where worldly passions kind of numb you out, and any whisper of a higher purpose or conviction just gets silenced.
And just to be clear, the source uses this quote from Ephesians to frame this as something that's not some far-off, extreme state. It's actually a universal human experience. It's a place we can all find ourselves, just driven by the immediate cravings of our nature. Okay, from there we're going to shift over to the left to our next zone of struggle. This is Zone 3, Depletion. And this place, it represents a totally different and maybe even a more subtle kind of spiritual emptiness.
So what's the difference here? The key distinction is that you're famishing the spirit and starving the flesh. It's not about actively indulging in bad behavior, it's more about a passive indifference. It's like a spiritual exhaustion that just blinds you from even seeking a deeper purpose.
To really hammer home how sneaky this zone can be, the source points to this biblical warning. It frames depletion not as some big, open rebellion, but as this quiet, cunning deception that can just lead us astray from any real, sincere devotion.
All right, so from that passive state of depletion, we now move up to what the source calls the most active battleground on the entire map, Zone 2, the zone of destruction. This is where that internal conflict is just raging. Zone 2 is defined by trying to do two opposite things at the exact same time. You're trying to sustain your spirit while you're also feeding the flesh. The source suggests this is where a lot of people of faith find themselves, just genuinely torn between their devotion to God and the pull of temptation. And to make this state absolutely crystal clear, the source uses this really powerful analogy. Just imagine you own two very, very hungry dogs. Now, you only have enough food to fully satisfy one of them. But instead of picking one, you keep splitting the food. You give a little bit to what the source calls the holy dog, and a little bit to the evil dog. And what's the result? Well, it's inevitable, right? Both dogs stay hungry. Both are frustrated. Neither one is ever truly satisfied. And that is such a perfect picture of the spiritual frustration that comes from trying to feed two opposing natures at the same time. And if that feeling sounds familiar, well, you're not alone. This quote from the book of Romans just perfectly captures the heart of the struggle in that destruction zone. Knowing what is good, wanting to do it, but feeling completely powerless to actually carry it out. So, after trekking through those three really difficult zones, the map finally points us toward our destination, the ultimate goal of this whole journey, Zone I, the zone of devotion. Now, according to the source, this is the place of real fruit, of growth, of victory. And it's defined by making a clear, decisive choice to sustain the spirit while actively famishing the flesh. This is described as the path to that abundant life that Christ promised. And this prayer from Isaiah, it's held up as a perfect example of what that mindset in the devotion zone looks like. It's a life that's lived faithfully and with a wholehearted, focused intention.
Okay, so the map is clear, we know the zones, we know the destination. But the big question is, how do you actually get there? How does someone move toward devotion? Well, the source material doesn't just identify the problem, it also offers a path forward.
It lays out this 5-step path to grace. It starts with C for chase, acknowledging our sinful hearts. Then S for space, recognizing that sin creates this distance between us and God. The E is for erase, understanding that Christ's sacrifice is believed to erase that debt. That leads to the next E, which is embrace, to embrace Jesus and receive salvation. And finally, G for grace, accepting God's grace, His eternal plan for life. This is the source's roadmap to get to Zone I.
So, after walking through this entire map, the source leaves us with a very direct, very personal question. Looking at these 4 zones, depravity, depletion, destruction, and devotion, which one of them best describes your life right now?
Because in the end, it all comes down to this one simple, powerful thought. It circles right back to that analogy of the 2 dogs. In that internal battle between spirit and flesh, the winner isn't the strongest one or the loudest one. No, the winner is simply the one you feed.